Oops. The NCAA Rules Committee did it again.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're watching on YouTube or wherever you like to download your podcast, we are free, and I appreciate your support. And because we're free, it's so easy to become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button. And if you like the episode, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Both of those will mean a whole heck of a lot to the show. As well, Locked On USC, we come at you 5 times a week, bringing you all of your USC Trojan news and notes in 30 minutes or less. So you don't miss an episode, hit that bell notification button. It's that simple. All right. The only other big-time cash cow that can make a bigger mess than Britney Spears is, of course, the NCAA. They did it again. The NCAA figured out a way to screw up, or to try and screw up, the game of college football. Look, perhaps screw it up is too harsh. What I will say is they are probably sticking their nose in a place where they don't need to be. The new rule that the Rules Committee was able to get passed, and I believe it's going to take effect this season, is after first downs, the clock is going to continue to run, except in Division III. And they will allow the clock to stop in the final 2 minutes of each half. First of all, who asked to shorten the games? And I'm going to assume it's probably a bunch of academics who love statistics, but probably don't watch the games or enjoy the games for what it offers. Is it the networks who are paying billions to sell advertising? No, they're not the ones who are asking for this. The players? Look, I polled a few players. They were like, "Really? They're gonna do this?" Well, they found out. Yeah, they're doing this. And I actually talked about this back in February when I heard this was up for discussion at the NCAA Rules Committee that they're having, the meeting they had in February. The rule changes under consideration include running the clock after a first down. It's going to be awarded except in the last 2 minutes of either half. Carrying over any fouls to the next period instead of finishing that period or that quarter with an untimed down. The gentleman's last name is Shaw. I want to say Steve Shaw. He is the head of I guess he's a spokesperson for the NFL, for the NCAA's Rules Committee. And he said, the idea surrounding the first down change was to keep the game moving, but to preserve the uniqueness of the last 2 minutes of the half. And he continued on. To me, that's a beautiful difference between the college game and the NFL game, that the last 2 minutes, even though you may not have a timeout, if you make a first down, you have an opportunity to get the ball and get a snap. It makes for an exciting end to the game, end quote. Now, as far as the untimed down, the proposed penalty change would impact the end of the first and third quarters by not extending them if a foul is accepted. Currently, if there is an accepted penalty for a foul on the last timed down of any quarter by either team, the officials extend that quarter. Under this proposal change, they wouldn't do that in the first and third quarters. Instead, they'd walk off the penalty at the start of the next quarter. And then Shaw continued. He went on to say, quote, that doesn't happen a lot. But when it happens, you have time, you save a play in the game. Look, I'd buy all that, except for the hockey rule change that he just proposed about carrying over the penalty to the next period instead of playing an untimed down. And like you said, Mr. Shaw, it doesn't happen a lot. So let's just save the hyperbole and the whole we're going to do this because. And then eliminating the option for teams to call. There's a third rule change that they're putting into effect, or trying to put into effect, as far as preventing teams from calling consecutive timeouts. You know, when they're trying to ice a kicker at the end of a quarter, end of a half, whatever. I'm actually okay with this consideration. No issue with it whatsoever. Although, if I were in charge, what I would do on that second timeout is I would make it just like 15 seconds or less. Just enough time to actually call the timeout and make everybody get lined up again in time to snap the ball, as long as that takes. Otherwise, just do away with it. Now, according to Steve Shaw, that was his name, NCAA football secretary, rules editor, and officials coordinator, he told ESPN back in February that the combined changes are estimated to shorten the average length of games by 7 to 8 minutes and 8 plays. Estimated. According to Shaw, college football games have averaged 180 plays per game over the last 3 regular seasons, and typically the games are lasting 3 hours and 21 minutes. After that, all of their data that they're using to support their rules initiatives, it's still in the to be determined phase. In other words, they don't have all the data yet. They're still accumulating it. So it's all speculation that the player safety will be enhanced in any significant way. There's just nothing there to support it. So my thing is, stop trying to recreate the wheel. Leave the game alone. Definitely don't use the expanded playoffs as a crutch to lean on for implementing these rules, because they're going to be playing extra games, more plays, yada, yada, yada. That's all true for some teams. Not for all, not for every. It's going to be true for 12 teams. And these rules don't even apply to Division III. I guess they're tougher. I don't know. Why wouldn't the rules just apply across the board? If these rules are being put in place without any substantiated data to back it up, why not wait for the science, right? Anyways, on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC, I started the offensive position group breakdowns post-spring camp. So now that the quarterbacks are out of the way, that's what we spoke about. It's what I talked about on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC. Go check it out. I'm talking about the old school way of running the clock, keeping it moving. We're going to talk about the running backs in the next segment. But first, we're going to talk about FanDuel. You know why? Because baseball season's we're right in it now. We're right into the grand slams. We're into the no-hitters. We're into the double plays. They're all back. And there's no better place to get in on the Major League Baseball action than at FanDuel. They are America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now, new customers, you can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. So just go to FanDuel.com/locked-on to sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. Wow, you lose, you're covered. And look, we're past opening day, but you can still go over that, and you can run a whole bunch of prop bets. You can see on the Dodgers who's in the lineup, and if it's Mookie Betts, will he make a bet? He's going to have 2 doubles, a triple, and a single, and a strikeout. If that's possible, go make the bet. Literally, though, don't miss your chance to go get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/locked-on to sign up. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. Now, Locked On's NFL mock draft special is here, and it's bigger than ever. Follow along. All 32 teams' first pick in a 6-episode ultimate mock draft experience only on Lockdown, the only way and only Locked On can deliver. All episodes are available now on Locked On NFL Draft on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Okay, I'm old enough to remember how a coach controlled the game clock on offense, and they did that with a strong running game. Some of you might remember Mike Riley, head coach of Oregon State, NFL, USC's offensive coordinator at one time. He was known as 9-Minute Mike because he was known for his time-consuming drives, especially when you needed a couple of scores to get back into the game and you're already in the second half, sometimes in the fourth quarter. But I digress. USC made the running back sexy. I mean, they are Tailback U. So literally, by the time Reggie Bush won USC's 7th Heisman Trophy, 5 of which were from the running back position, they now have 8, thank you, Caleb Williams. It was like, okay, sexy is back. Reggie got another one. Well, throwing the ball is considered sexy in today's game. But if you play running back in college football today, you have to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. In the past, it was pass protect and block. Or as Travis Dye made everyone keenly aware, no blocky, no rocky. Well, as far as catching the ball out of the backfield for USC in 2023, they're in a really good spot. All the running backs, including the freshmen, have shown that they're capable of catching the ball. More importantly, they're more than capable. They're extremely capable. They're very, very, very capable of running the ball. Austin Jones is going to be Mr. Reliable. He's going to do everything you want a running back to do. Nothing's going to wow you when he runs it, when he blocks, when he catches the ball. But when he does get the ball, whether it's running or catching, he's going to get positive yards. That's what he does. Marshawn Lloyd, the newest transfer portal addition. We saw what he's capable of doing, catching the ball out of the backfield. He touched the ball one time during the spring game, and it was Reggie Bush-esque. Now, it was his only touch in the game, and it only went for 24 yards. But it was how he got those 24 yards that made it really special. Go back, check out the video. Go check out the highlights. You can find it on YouTube. Check it out on WeAreSC.com somewhere. You'll find it. So we're going to still have to wait to see him run in wearing cardinal and gold, and we're going to have to wait till the end of August to see that happen when USC opens up against San Jose State. So unless something changes between now and then, I believe the top 2 running backs on the depth chart are going to be Austin Jones and Marshawn Lloyd. In no particular order. It's going to be either or on the depth chart. As far as Darwin Barlow, he's actually the biggest of the running back stable as far as size. And he's definitely the biggest of the veterans. And I think he's big. I think he's bigger than a Murray and Peterson, the freshman. But he's also shown the ability to finish at the goal line. That's what's important. He's a tough runner. And he's also been with the team the longest. But it always feels like he's like the odd man out. So we're going to see what role he has this year. As of me doing this recording for this episode, his name hasn't been in the transfer portal yet. He's said all the right things throughout spring camp. And as far as I'm concerned, I hope he stays. I'm a big fan of Darwin Barlow's. Very humble young man. And he just wants to help the team. So he also wants an opportunity. And he's willing to, earn that spot. At least that's what he said. Now, Rayleigh Brown, last year, true freshman this year going into his sophomore season. He's going to be USC's special secret weapon. We've all heard about Zachariah Branch. Well, USC has a couple of really special players who can play in that slot position. Well, what makes Ray Leak unique is you can also line him up in the backfield. You can line him up all over. Heck, put him at H-back just to create that mismatch in speed against a linebacker. Or to make the defense have to adjust and go, oh, what's he doing there? Because now all of a sudden you got people pointing, you got him, I got him, no, you got whatever. You can see the hamster wheel churning in my head. I can only imagine what Lincoln Riley and Cliff Kingsbury have going on inside their heads. They're offensive geniuses, so we'll see. And then you've got the two freshman running backs. Quincy Joyner, he's turning heads. He turned heads in the stands. I mean, I think he was the leading rusher in the game. I can go back and look at the stats. Pretty sure he was. Very dynamic. And he's not the biggest of the guys, but he's a really good running back. And he's only going to get better. Remember, he's a true freshman. Just completed spring camp. But he's also turning heads in the locker room. So his teammates rave about him. Not just when they're being asked about him. They talk about him off camera too. And that goes double ditto. So, what is that? 2 squared. The coaches, they rave about Quentin Joyner. Love him. They love Amarian Peterson too. I said after the game that Amarian Peterson reminded me of Lendale White. He has those little pitter-patter feet as he's getting through the hole, and then boom, bop, he's just gone, burst. That was what Lendale White brought to the table. It was thunder and lightning. You know, Reggie Bush was the lightning. You give him the ball, something was going to happen. Thunder was Lendale. You heard him before you saw the lightning. Or you saw the lightning and then you heard the thunder. That's how it works in nature, right? I don't know if USC has a thunder or lightning right now. What they do have is their running back room looks like what a USC running back room should look like. And they actually already have a commit for their 2024 class. So running backs coach Kiel McDonald, the entire staff, they're recruiting really well. Kiel McDonald is recruiting like a boss. And he loves the state of Texas because the 2024 commit, his name is Brian Jackson. He's out of McKinney, Texas. And if you watch him, go look at his high school highlights. He is a Ron Dane type of downhill runner. So, as I'm sure everyone's aware, starting next season, 2024 and beyond, USC will be a member of the Big Conference. So, welcome to the Big. Here come the USC running backs. As far as 2023, USC's got a solid room. You've got 3 veterans, and then you've got a Rayleigh Brown, who's, he's still he's an underclassman, but he's got a year under his belt, and then you've got the 2 really good freshmen behind that are looking to get some playing time. A really well-balanced running back room, and like I said, it's going to be Austin Jones, Marshawn Lloyd, Darwin Barlow, Rayleigh Brown, and the freshmen. And how the coaching staff decides to use them, that's their problem. And it's a good problem. We just get to enjoy watching it. And hopefully, that will be their way of controlling the clock rather than having to use these stupid rules that the NCAA thinks they have to implement just because they're the NCAA. Heisman's and name, image, and likeness, it just hits different in Los Angeles. Can we say that? Can we just be honest about that? On Monday, Baltimore Ravens quarterback Tyler Huntley signed a contract that will pay him $2.6 million to play football for a full season. You know who else signed another contract on Monday? USC quarterback Caleb Williams. He did a deal that has pushed his NIL valuation to nearly that same amount. Could be more. Caleb is a nominee for Male Athlete of the Year at this June's NIL Summit, and he has literally emerged as a marketing star in the last, 21, almost 2 years, 21 months. Ever since he's moved out to USC, it has paid off big time. He has signed endorsement deals with Athletic Brewing, the Athletic Brewing Company, Fanatics, AT&T, Beats by Dre, and AC plus Ion Water. Well, that was before he just signed on with Neutrogena. So the USC quarterback, and I'm just reading off stuff that I pulled from the web, he has seen his social media following continue to literally rise since the fall. And now he's at around 277,000 total followers. His On3 name, image, likeness valuation has jumped with it. They have them valued at $2.6 million. And that puts him at number 2, believe it or not, in college football. Who's number 1, you're asking? Archie Manning? Yeah. So, On3's Peter Nakos, that's where I'm getting all this information from. He went on to say that everybody knows that Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 he's anticipated to go number 1 in the next NFL draft. Absolutely. And he's not the only one who thinks this. I've talked about this, actually. Well, what's to prevent not just Caleb, but any player from saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't need to leave college early. In Caleb's situation, especially if he's in line to be picked by an NFL team that maybe he doesn't want to play for. It's not like we haven't seen a Manning pull that move before, right? Uncle Eli? Anyways. However, I think everybody agrees that dynamic is coming. It's happening. Like I said, it's not just unique to Caleb Williams, who is going to be the first overall draft pick and who holds all the leverage. How about that marginal NFL player, but is a star college player, 5th year, maybe a 6th-year player, that a roster needs maybe for another year, maybe 2 years? They can be induced to stay and take that sure thing NIL package, sign that contract, and trust me, these are big contracts. These are like 50-page contracts that these NIL packages are worth. Do you stay? Do you take the sure thing that you're being offered? Or, do you gamble and, play, let's make a deal. Take what's behind door number 3. Gamble, go to the NFL. For some players, I think it's going to be an easy decision. You stay. You take the money, and then you gamble. Here's the thing. The more Caleb Williams makes in college, with all these companies that he's signing on with, it's, if he's the face of AT&T, Beats by Dre, Neutrogena, and the list continues to grow, well, that whatever NFL team drafts him, it's going to cost them that much more. I mean, that he's going to be the face of their franchise, and an NFL franchise is billionaires. It costs $1 billion to join that club. So yeah, that's Caleb Williams' worth. So imagine if he's drafted by one of the 2 LA teams, one of the New York teams, or a big brand name like Dallas, like the Dallas Cowboys. Check that. Imagine the possibilities in Las Vegas. Move over, Wayne Newton. I mean, this is how USC envisions NIL, how they want to use it. This is the power, the leverage that USC has over, I'd say, 90% of the programs in the country. Convince me I'm wrong. Disagree. Make an argument. Talk to me. Get the comment section over there on YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter. Head on over to wearesc.com when you're done making Locked On USC your first listen. Oh, by the way, tomorrow's episode, the offensive line. So, until then, everyone, you know what to do.